Love you. Will you shut this behind me, boo?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll be nice and easy now.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of soothing meditation. Come with me and you'll see this week's mudra. Yeah, it's that kind of morning. Good morning. I'm trying really hard not to sing that dang good morning to you. We live in a zoo. Stop for coffee. I got mushrooms growing in my yard. Really nice ones. Not really edible ones, though. Well, I ate the edible ones already. So, let's see. Where's our spot this morning? Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Saturday morning. Bhakti Bites this morning. For those of you new here, my name is Deborah. I don't always sing everything, but today, it's just that kind of day. Oh no. There's a attack tabby. Hey, Em. Tabs. 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 Don't do it. I see you want to jump me. Don't jump me. Please. Please. I'll sit down in a sec. He likes my mug. It is my tea troll or my coffee troll, depending on what's inside, right? Good morning, Nikki. Cat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. I'm about to be attacked. About to be attacked by a kitty cat. Oh! Sorry, guys. You ready? I am well. I am fucking chipper. I don't know what the deal is. But waking up a little earlier. It might be this mudra. I've been using. Yeah, orange cat behavior. Yes, he's an attack tabby. And he's going to try to climb on top of me because he thinks that that's the best way to get pets. I've tried to explain to him that that is not the best way to get pets, and I'm not a climbing post, but he doesn't hear me. Oh, now you're stuck in my sweater. Tap, tap. There you go. Oh, okay. Tap, tap. There you go. Oh, okay. What a tabby. It is really nice here. I am in Oregon and we are up in the mountains and we have not gotten any snow. We're not that high yet, but we get these really beautiful foggy mornings. My son says it reminds him of the zombie apocalypse. He's like, it's creepy outside. I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of nice because you can't see. We can't see the mountains over there and over there. I can't see what? I don't know how many feet. Terrible about guessing feet. It's a lovely little place. I am thinking about renting out the RV space. I had it rented this summer as like a, overnight sort of thing. But I was thinking about doing like a little winter meditation yoga retreat or something with the RV instead because tabby. That's why. Because tabby. Because who can resist? Thank you for the follow. All right. So I was going to show you guys the mushrooms in my yard. But again, I think I ate all the edible ones. I had these really nice little puffball mushrooms in my yard. Hi, Kiki. I had really nice puffball mushrooms, but I ate them all. The other mushrooms that I have in my yard are not edible ones. They're just cool looking ones. But another wonderful thing about living out here is there's medicine and food in my yard. Not the stuff that I plant either. Like, hi. Okay, so welcome everybody. Let's get into our mudra and our meditation for the week. We're going to expand on our meditation. So if you're new here, again, hello, my name is Deborah. I am a reverend and a movement facilitator. And these are our Bhakti Bites sessions. Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care, because so many of us put that as the last thing on our to-do list. So if you're struggling to get your self-care in, please note that we go live Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings for about 10, 20-minute meditation, something real quick and easy. And we usually practice a mindfulness tool. So lately, for the last number of weeks, we've been doing mudras. The mudra that we've been working with this week is called the Vyana mudra. And it's Sanskrit, so I apologize if my pronunciation is not perfect. If you have better pronunciation, please do tell me. The Vyana mudra is done like so. Let me take the gloves off so you guys can see. This is the mudra for expansion. It works to balance blood pressure. It treats heart issues. It opens up the lungs and creates space in with the diaphragm to breathe more naturally, more fully. It helps with restlessness and insomnia, as well as oversleeping, particularly oversleeping in the morning and difficulty falling asleep. And it balances all three doshas. It's actually a really cool, really powerful mudra. And it is done like so. You leave your pinky and your ring finger extended. Bring your middle finger into that middle point of your thumb, and then touch the tip of your pointer finger and the tip of your thumb together. This is called the Vyana mudra. Keep those two fingers extended. Elvis, a diaphragm is what you have down here that assists your lungs in breathing. It's anatomy, my friend. So the Vyana mudra, again, is done by leaving your pinky and your ring finger extended. Come. And bringing your middle finger to the middle point on your thumb and touching the tip of your finger to the tip of your thumb together. Keeping those other two fingers extended. Again, this is called the Vyana mudra and is held palms upright, laying in your lap. With most mudras, I always say that if you're in the moment and you need to hold this mudra for some reason or another, don't worry about putting it palms upright in your lap. Don't worry about sitting in meditation. Dog, come on, leave him be. You can hold it wherever is comfortable for you. I'm a big fan of holding mudras while I'm driving, as long as it's safe to do so, or while I'm sitting waiting for something, or even while I'm walking, because they can still do the magic, do their work, while you are not just specifically sitting in meditation. So feel free to use this mudra whenever you need a little bit of extra space within your body, within your spirit, within your head, within, your emotions. Sometimes we just need a little more room. It feels really cramped in here. And if that's the experience you're having, I invite you to curl that middle finger into the middle point of your thumb, touch the tip of your pointer and your thumb together, and leave those other two extended for your Vyana mudra. So for this meditation, we're going to do today, we focused a lot on our heart this week, on our rib cage, opening up our lungs and this space within our chest. We're going to move into our heart. And then we're going to move our attention up to our third eye, and then we're going to shift to what's called a Tritaka mudra. Harold, these are called mudras. Meditation gang signs. This is the meditation gang. Yeah. And these are our signs. There are like hundreds or thousands of them. Yeah. No, it's all right, Harold. That was funny. It was great. Hey, Corey, how are you? We're just sitting in for meditation, holding our yogi gang signs. Thank you, Harold, for tickling. Oh, don't be scared. All right. So, part of this meditation, the ending of this meditation is going to be a Tritaka meditation. Just to alert you guys real quick. A Tritaka meditation is a staring meditation. It's a focus meditation where you pick one point and you stare at that point. And so we are going to take this expansive mudra Expand the chest out again. Move that energy up into the third eye. Expand the third eye out again. And then you're going to open your eyes. Thank you, Corey. Then you're going to open your eyes and you're going to pick a point in the room, and you're going to watch that point outside of you also expand, so we can really experience the expansiveness of this mudra. Okay? So, if you are ready and if it is safe to do so, find yourself a nice cozy spot. You can be sitting upright, you can be laying down. The only thing I ask is that you're not slouching, because we are working with the energy body and you want to keep those channels open and clear. So if you're laying down, go ahead and lay down and enjoy yourself. If you're sitting up, find yourself a nice upright position. If you need to lean back, just make sure that your back is upright when you're leaning back on whatever it is you got behind you. All right, my loves, if it is safe to do so, go ahead and close your eyes. Grab your mudra. Again, one last time. Keep your pinky and your ring finger extended. Bring your middle finger into the middle point on your thumb, and then bring your pointer finger to the tip of your thumb, no more than the weight of a nickel. This is a very gentle, you're just making contact. We're not trying to squeeze or pop or pressure anything. No more than the weight of a nickel. Keep those other two fingers extended. Lay those either palms upright in your lap or just palms upright beside you, and go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to begin with 3 deep breaths to fully arrive here for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath in through the lungs and down into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. And release. Go ahead and seal the lips and just pay attention to your breath for a few moments, following the inhale all the way to the top and the exhale all the way to the bottom. Inhale all the way to the top and exhale all the way to the bottom. Remember, the most important part about meditation is your intention and your attention. So your intention here is simply to follow the breath. And anytime you notice your attention is being pulled away, simply bring your attention back to the breath. A gentle, loving, kind redirect without shame, judgment, or blame. Allowing the breath to anchor you deeper and deeper into the present moment. Inhaling to lift your heart. And exhaling to release any tension, melting the shoulders, shoulder blades, the muscles in your arms, your neck, your back, your legs. Inhale. And exhale. Keep those lips sealed. And as you breathe, as you continue with your inhales and exhales, I invite you to notice the way that your chest expands on the inhale, creating space within your rib cage, space for your lungs. And notice the way that your heart gently falls back down on the exhale. Again, your intention and your attention. Just bring your attention back to your breath. The way your ribcage expands. The way your heart rises and falls. Notice that each inhale creates a little more space within you. Allow yourself to sink deeper into this expansiveness. Once you start to feel that sinking feeling as if you're slipping deeper into this practice, feeling that expansiveness being created in your chest, I invite you to shift your focus up to the point between your brows, your third eye chakra, and imagine that that same sensation that you're experiencing in your chest, the expansiveness of your rib cage, the rise and fall of your heart, imagine that that same sensation is happening right there in your third eye. You can move just your mental focus up to your third eye, or you can even move your eyes, still remaining closed, looking up at your third eye for a more intense practice. Please be mindful of where you're at without the need to cause too much pressure or too much pushing or too much force. Gentle awareness. Resting our awareness gently. No more than the weight of a nickel, right? Feel that expansiveness in the third eye. Kind of opening and closing, a rising and falling, expanding and contracting of your third eye chakra. If you're enjoying this part of the meditation enough, you are welcome to stay right here. You're welcome to go back to just the breath in your chest, the rise and fall of your heart, or go ahead and gently, slowly open your eyes and find one point. Find one point in front of you. Try not to turn your head too far. Find that point, and with lazy eyelids, stare at that point. Without removing your gaze, without shifting your gaze at all. All of your attention, all of your awareness, all of your focus on that point that you see. And with your gaze, I invite you to look for the expansion of that point. See if you can stare into that thing until you can perceive it expanding. That same sensation, the expansion and contraction of your lungs, the expansion and contraction of your third eye. See that same rhythm occurring in this thing that you were staring at, your Tritaka meditation, staring meditation. We're going to spend a couple of minutes here watching for that thing that you're staring at to create its own rise and fall, expansion and contraction. I invite you to witness your breath occurring outside of you. Inhale and exhale. Focus all of your awareness, all of your focus on that single point. All of your attention, all of your focus. If your attention is drawn away, bring it back to this single point. There is nothing else but this single point and your breath. The inhale and the exhale mirrored in the outside world. If it becomes too intense for your eyes, feel free to close your eyes and refocus on your third eye, imagining that same breath the expansion and contraction in your third eye of the breath. If that's still too intense, you can move your attention back down to your heart. Without shame, without judgment, just honor where you are in the moment and what works best for you right now. If you've gone back into your heart or to your third eye, I invite you to move up a little bit, whether it's to your third eye or by opening your eyes again and moving back to your Tritaka meditation, the staring meditation at one singular point, watching for the expansion and contraction of the breath outside of the body. I encourage you to stay here in this meditation as long as feels comfortable, without creating strain or pressure. When you feel complete, I invite you to close your eyes again if they're open. Release the mudra and either bring your hands to prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for the breath, simply for the breath. That life-giving force that flows through us and connects us to the planet, to this earth, to the trees and to the oceans. Offer your lungs a little gratitude for doing the work to process that oxygen, for creating space within you, for offering your heart that gentle rise and fall rhythm. And offer yourself a little gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. You are so worth it, and I'm so proud of you for showing up today. Thank you so much for joining me. When you are ready to come out of meditation, please do so slowly. Offer yourself some wiggles. Offer yourself some stretches. Only opening your eyes when you're ready to come back. Hello, good morning, everyone. User 27, sometimes you get the object to change colors. Yep, that is part of Tritaka. Thank you, Christina. Welcome. Thank you, Jocelyn. Welcome, guys. So for those of you just joining, good morning, Todd. For those of you just joining, this is our last day of practice for the Vyana mudra, and the Vyana mudra is done like so. Leave your pinky extended, leave your ring finger extended, bring your middle finger into the halfway point of your thumb, and then gently touch the tip of your pointer finger to the tip of your thumb. Thank you, Corey. Leave those other two fingers extended and lay this upright in your lap. This is called the Vyana mudra and is the mudra for expansion. Are you, water bear, are you supposed to feel like bawling your eyes out? If it feels appropriate, a lot of times what meditation does is brings up things that need to be released. I've talked about this before, so if you guys are new here, there's this concept that you can imagine your conscious mind. I think of it like two circles. And when you pull your attention away to the future or to the past or something else that's happening and we've got busy in our brains, we create a kind of surface tension. And that surface tension holds down somatic memory, emotions, thoughts, feelings. It holds within us all of these things that are swirling around underneath the surface. When we sit in meditation, the things that come up, the reason you have thoughts coming up, especially, or emotions coming up, or twitches coming up, is those are not, they're not trying to attack you, they're not out to get you, they're not trying to distract you. It is actually your body and your mind releasing the things that are ready to be released. So this is why we don't blame or shame or judge ourselves in meditation when our minds get distracted. When emotions come up, we don't bitch at ourselves and go, oh, damn it, I can't meditate right. No, we go, that is correct meditation. You are allowing the space for these things to rise and be released. And that's yeah. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, join me I do a tiny yoga class at 9 a.m. on Friday mornings, a chair yoga class, a class for yoga for everybody in every space. I also do these Bhakti Bites classes Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings. But FYI, guys, these are my free classes right now. And beginning the new year, these classes will move over to my website at Move with Change. So if you guys want to be members, if you join over there, you get access to all of my classes. You get discounts on private coaching, as well as group coaching that happens every single week over in Move with Change. If you subscribe here on TikTok, you get a free month over there. If you have any questions about that or working with me, feel free to either visit Move with Change or just message me here on TikTok too. This is Perth. Perth. We have all our cats are named some sort of celestial something or other, and Perth really loves people. So you're like, thank you, water bearer. Oh, water bearer, I'm going back and catching up on some of these. You're like, thank you for loving you. Yeah, to yourself. That is one of the biggest. So these are again, Bhakti Bites class. Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care, because so many of us forget our self-care. So many of us put aside taking care of ourselves and treating ourselves the way that we really need to be treated for ourselves. And we often put that on other people. And we want other people to fix these things for us. We want other people to give us the words that we need, or the time that we need, or the whatever it is, the soothing that we need. And in reality, so much of that has to come from us first. And it can be hard to do when you're not used to it. And it can be hard when you want it from other people. Thank you, Corey. Because I've been there before too, of for so long, wanting to get that from other people, feeling like I needed to get that from other people. And it always felt like it was falling short. And it wasn't until I found the way to give it to myself, learned how to give it to myself consistently, that I started not needing it in the same way from other people. Yeah. Create less codependency, right? And more self-dependency. Chatting with my kitty cat, Ryan. Skeeter, how do you deal with NPD in general? With narcissistic personality disorder? You mean with somebody else with it, or just, narcissism is an issue of the ego. It is an attachment to the ego that is so strong that it causes delusion, or it causes an illusion, right? An illusion of self, an illusion, a misconception of self and other, not misvalue, I should say, but that's the difference between, authenticity and ego expression, right? We show up, or the difference between self-centered and selfish. Selfish means I do what I want regardless of how it treats other people, regardless of the consequences. I do what the fuck I want. That's selfish, that's ego. But self-centered or authentic says, I'm going to be true to myself, and also it's love for self and other, not just love for self. So if you're asking, you know, how do we deal with it in a person, it takes self-work. And takes, the truth is anyone to do that work takes a willingness of self. And you can't change that for anybody else. So the important part is to just focus on yourself, what you can do for yourself. And if you're interacting with or in a relationship with or having to interact with somebody who has that personality disorder, it's important for you to do the work that you need to do to keep yourself safe, because ultimately you can't change anybody else, and to try to do so is a big waste of energy. Thank you guys for the follow. Nice try, firefighter. It's my dog Bear. Blythe, how do you catch the Pokemon? This Pokemon is catching dog Pokemon. They're under my arm. They're sitting here batting each other. Dog knows how to catch this Pokemon. Hi, Billy. Lemura, you are very welcome. It's really important, guys. The only person and the only thing you have control over really is yourself. But even then, we have to find our locus of control within us. When we have needs that we can't meet for ourselves, we put our control outside of us. It's like the idea, thank you, Ashley, good morning. It's that idea of like, if I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if, I'll only be okay if, this condition that's outside of myself. You are causing yourself perpetual suffering, because to attach your happiness to something outside of yourself means it's something that is impermanent. It is something that is finite. So you will always be a victim of the situation outside of you and not in control of your own happiness. Rescue, right? And completely passed over it. Passed over what, my friend? Sorry, there's 148 people in here, and we've got a comment feed that's moving pretty quick, and I'm doing my best to be aware and have conversations with folks, but I don't always catch them all, and yeah. Thank you, Sherry. You want to snuggle this kitty cat? I've got 4 of them. You're welcome to show up and snuggle any of them. They'd be really happy with it. Rescue. I'm really sorry to hear that, friend, that is silenced as an adult. As an adult, they are outside kitties. As an adult, we have the opportunity to protect and care for and repair damage that happened when we were younger. Things that happened when we were younger, we had no control over, and you cannot fault yourself for. And honestly, the mistakes that you made as an adult in the past that you might look back at and want to feel guilty about, you don't actually have control over those anymore either. So spending our time lamenting over the things that happened in the past that brought us to here is a drain on energy. And yes, of course, there are some things that happen to some of us that are fucking terrible, that are awful, that weigh very heavily on us. But until we can figure out a way to get out from underneath them, they will continue to weigh on us. And the truth is all we have is right here, right now. Can't lament on things that people are actively trying to shut down. Then, my friend, I encourage you to find a safe space. If you're around people who are shutting down your emotions or causing you, not respecting your boundaries, or causing you to feel shame or to feel blamed, 2 pieces. Again, 1, a safe space is really important. And 2, recognize that no one has control over you besides physically forcing you to do something. So if the people you're talking to keep shutting you down, then go talk to somebody else. You're bringing that energy to the wrong people who don't have space for it. How do we live each day in the present moment the best we can? Hey, thanks, Ashley. Honestly, mindfulness. These are the practices that have brought me into the present moment, offered me the awareness to live in the present moment. Again, we talk about those two circles, right? These two circles of consciousness. When we are busy with our brains thinking into the future and thinking into the past and whatnot, we create kind of surface tension where we're not really in the present moment and we're not really experiencing what's happening in the present moment either. And when that's the case, we get very surprised by the present moment, when this is how we often get reactive to the present moment, because we're actually somewhere else and not really aware what's happening in the present moment. So it is a practice that I implement every single day, is that as often as possible, I bring myself back to the present moment. And there are so many tools that we can use. Yeah, you can use mantras and yoga and meditation and mudras and all this stuff, but you can also just use your breath. Find an anchor. Your anchor can just be your breath. Your anchor can be your heartbeat. Your anchor can be to look around and see every color in the room and pay attention. Thank you, Nikki. Your anchor can be so many of these different things that bring you back to the present moment and bring you back to your present experience. An emotion can bring you back to the present moment, but too often we attach past or future to the emotion. So instead of allowing the emotion to bring us into now, we use that emotion to carry us like a fucking magic carpet into like 3 years ago or 2 hours from now, or, but it's not. I saw somebody made a really cute little thing on here the other day that was like, stop telling stories, stop attaching stories to your emotions, stop attaching stories to your emotions, stop attaching to your stories to your emotions already. He made like a little cute sing-songy thing about it. And I was laughing because I was like, yeah, if we could just recognize that our reactions, our programming based on our previous experiences that built us into who we are right now. And when information from stimuli, external or internal stimuli, shows up, then our body and mind responds, reacts. But when we increase our awareness in the present moment so that we can, when that trigger happens and my belly flops and that anxiety feeling crops up or my throat becomes constricted and I feel like I can't speak, if I'm present in the moment, I can catch that and go, wow, that's a really big, or that's an interesting whatever, right? Response. That's interesting. Talking to this person. Thank you, Nikki, for subscribing. Talking to this person right now, I'm feeling constricted. I feel like I can't be honest. I wonder why that is. And we can have a moment to be present with it, but we can also have a moment to say, like, I'm going to the grocery store and I know I just need to go to the grocery store, but before I go in, my belly flops with anxiety because I'm worried I'm going to run into somebody. I'm worried I'm going to have an awkward conversation. I'm worried whatever it is, right? My brain starts to attach story to a feeling. But instead of following the story down the rabbit hole, I pause in the car, put my hand on my belly, and treat myself like the, 5-year-old who might be in here who's like, I don't want to go to the store. It's boring and it's there, whatever. So I just hold space and I say, hey, I've got you. I'm going to keep you safe. Because as an adult now, I have that chance to do that. I'm going to hold you. I'm going to keep you safe. And if you get scared, I'm here. I've got you. Thank you guys for the follows. There are no bad parts. Yeah. And treating all parts of ourselves with love and respect is a profound practice. And when you first start, it's funny. When you first start, it feels weird. It feels fake. It feels silly. It feels like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm talking so nicely to myself, because we're so used to not doing it. But when you start to regularly do so, Again, we're not denying the negative emotions. We're not denying the shit talker in your brain who's like, oh, bro, you fucked up. Or, who says you are so not good enough to do that. Oh my God, you're going to get so judged. You don't need to deny that voice, that part of yourself, because that is part of yourself. What's important is that we turn to that part with love and compassion as the wiser self and say, I see you. I hear your frustration. I hear your worry. I hear your pain. I hear your anger. I hear you and I see you. But you are not in the driver's seat. So we don't let those emotions take the wheel and drive the car. We don't let them run the show because they create chaos, because they're not very wise, because they are very immature. Emotions are very basic, very simplistic. You can think of them like children. And when we think of them like children and then treat them with the same kind of compassion that we would treat a child, it creates radical change in your relationship with yourself. And then one day it doesn't feel silly anymore. It clicks. Yeah. I caught myself last night dancing on my porch, laughing to myself. Dog? Thank you. Laughing to myself, actually holding my mudra. I was dancing with the Vyana mudra last night, laughing to myself. And I just had one of those moments full of joy and silliness and play. And somewhere in my head, I heard, oh my God, somebody's going to see you. You look absurd. And for a second, I stopped. And I wrapped my arms around myself. Again, it sounds silly and it felt silly, but it also felt really good. I wrapped my arms around myself and I said, I love you so much. It's okay if they fucking see you. Who cares, right? And loved and hugged that person like I would hug my 7-year-old if he said that. That's exactly why you do it. Well, partially. When we change our relationship with ourselves, when we start to treat ourselves with love and respect rather than with judgment and blame, and it changes not only our internal experience, but it changes our external experience. Just give it a shot. The thing is, guys, like, I am here sharing these tools with you that have helped me, that have worked for me, that have changed my life. I have told you guys, you've heard it before, I would not be sitting here in this body, in this life, if it wasn't for mindfulness tools. I was at the very, very end of my rope. I was at the very, very bottom of the well, and I was not climbing back out. If it wasn't for my kid, if it wasn't for being a single parent, I probably wouldn't have even gone down the road of mindfulness. But it was my final straw. It was like, I need to do something. So I began with mindfulness. I began with self-talk. I began by congratulating myself. I was drinking really heavily. I was smoking really heavily. And at night, every night, the first thing I started doing was congratulating myself on making it through the day. Even though in my head I was like, I can't believe you're fucking drunk already. You're drunk. Again, you had like a whole fucking pack of cigarettes. Your fucking lungs hurt. I was bitching at myself hardcore. And every time I'd hear that, I'd stop and I'd pat myself on the fucking back and I'd say, good for you. You only had a pack today? You only got drunk? You only had 6 beers? Shit, you could have had a 12-pack. Shit, you could have drank hard. You could have gone and had shots. Shit, you could have had like a whole carton of cigarettes if you really wanted. Like you said, even rock bottom always has a basement. So I started paying attention to the basement and congratulating myself for being on rock bottom instead of the basement. And it's, again, felt radical and silly and stupid. And I like literally rolled my eyes at myself while I was going like, good job, you only had a single pack of cigarettes. But the more I did it, the more I felt it. And the more I felt it, the less I fought with myself over the cigarettes and the beer. And then the less that I had, and the less that I needed, and the less that I wanted. Because more fighting caused me to lean more into the thing that was hurting myself. Self-harm. I was harming myself with my words, and so of course I was pushing myself to harm myself further. It was changing my relationship with myself that changed my external world. My dog. Hi. Hello. Hello. The tongue is rude. Thank you. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. You won't notice physical changes in the beginning. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the fake it till you make it in a lot of ways. But in this way, it's a practice of trying to conjure up that feeling. I'm in Oregon, Emily. I'm in Oregon. It's a matter of if you need to think of some other time or some other thing that you were excited about or felt good about or made you feel really valued or whatever it is, if you have to conjure that feeling from a past memory, go ahead. Think about that past thing. Pull that feeling up in your heart, lean into it, absorb it in your body, in your being, and then transfer it to now. And lean into that feeling and go, I can feel that right now. I love you so much. It's okay. It's okay to be where you are. Cut out the blame, cut out the shame, cut out the judgment, because it's not helping. It's not healing. It's pulling those wounds wider and wider open, re-injuring ourselves over and over and over, perpetuating the abuse and the trauma and then the very things that we try to run away from, that we try to get away from, right? We tell people, well, you can't treat me like that, so I'm going to leave you. And we leave our partners, and then we go home and treat ourselves like that. Of course, Kenny. But it is an everyday practice, right, Morgan? It's an everyday practice. We have these Western minds that tell us we're supposed to fight and work really hard and push really hard to make things happen. We even have this idea of manifestation, that if you focus hard enough on something that it's going to manifest just because you spent all your time and attention on it. But we also understand that in and of itself is a kind of attachment. That kind of pushing and not even striving. I'm going to change the words there. Forcing ourselves, tiring ourselves out, overexerting ourselves, trying so hard for peace, peace of mind, peace in body, heart, and soul. It's the opposite. It's like trying to squeeze Jell-O. Thanks, brain. The hardest thing I've ever done is try to love myself. I can love others many times over, though. And that's often because we don't know all that goes on within them. We don't have all the self-talk and all the things that, I used to say to people, oh yeah, you can love me, but you love me because you don't know me. If you knew everything that was going on in here, you wouldn't love me anymore. Because the reality is that I felt like I know, or like we do usually, I know myself best. And if other people really knew how I felt about myself or about life or about, whatever, that they wouldn't love me. Because somewhere deep down in there was the message that I was unlovable. And I've had to work with that and sit with that part of myself. And I've made friends with that part of myself. Thank you, Nikki. And I'm still learning to love that part of myself. I'm still learning to show up for that part of myself in the day to day, because I can say that to myself. I love myself. Good job. I'm proud of myself. I think I'm great, whatever. But when I go out into public, or when I have that moment where that self-talk comes up, when I end up in that situation that triggers the feeling of not being good enough or not being lovable or whatever the thing is, it is in that moment when I have to actually show up for myself. I can say it otherwise, but there's those moments when it comes up that I actually have to pause and put my hand on my belly where I'm feeling that anxiety and take a deep breath and say, I see you. I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to hold you here, okay? Because you are now your protector. Those things that happened before, they happened before. All you have is here and now. Right? Tomorrow never comes. Isn't it interesting? Cipher. Jehovah says if you love yourself, you cannot be his disciple. What an interesting concept. You shouldn't love yourself? Oops, manifestation happens. Yeah, if we're unconscious, and then manifestation is constantly, oops, happening all around us because we are co-creators in our universe. We are all aspects, facets on the gem that is this universe. I'm going to say it again, you guys. If you don't see God in all, you won't see God at all. It's not a pick and choose. Oh, God only exists within you or within me, or God doesn't exist within that person because they're this way or whatever. That's called judgment. That is not. If you don't see God in all, you won't see God at all, at all. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that nonsense about how God chose me and not you, about how I am close to God and not you. It's arrogance. The idea that you, for the sake of being you, is somehow higher or better than anyone else is a miswiring of the mind and the heart. And it leads to self-imposed illusions that cause us suffering in our lives. We cause ourselves suffering by attachment to these ego ideas that we are better than other people, or higher than, or more holy than. To know thyself is to know that we are divine. And to be divine is to love yourself and others. Not from a place of hierarchy, not from a place of arrogance or ego, but from a place of authenticity. Authentically loving yourself, authentically loving the other. And yeah, that includes things like boundaries. That includes things like making the choices between which kinds of suffering you're willing to tolerate and not. We are still humans having a human experience. But within that human experience is divinity, is the divine, because the divine runs through absolutely everything in this universe. And so to say, well, you don't get to be divine because you don't think the way that I think. And there's only one truth to this entire infinite universe. There's only one, and it's my truth. And if you don't believe my truth, well, then you're not going to get the prize at the end of the rainbow. I love you guys. And I've seen what that kind of misconception, miswiring of the brain, illusion of self-imposed illusion can do to the mind and the body. And it's not healthy. It's not happy. I have been a reverend for 9 years, and I have worked in death and in birth. And I tell you that when at the end of life, when people look back, it is those who have had an open heart and an open mind who find joy and excitement at the end of life. And across the board, those who believe that they have to prove themselves to get the keys are suffering on that deathbed in fear and worry and anguish, terrified that they didn't do it right, that they didn't do enough, that they weren't perfect enough. And the universe itself is perfect. God is perfect. Why would God create something imperfect? Oh, to test you, to challenge you. That sounds like a narcissistic. I have to prove my love to you? That's that whole narcissistic parent thing. Well, I created you. You gotta prove how grateful you are for me creating you. That is not how I treat my child. It was not his choice to be created. And so I am not going to judge him or shame him for not doing things perfectly as I expect him to. His life is not about my expectations. That would be arrogance, to believe that he needs to conform to my expectations of him. And this is that really infantile relationship that gets built when people have that mindset around their higher power. They become a victim of their own creator. Been there. That's the environment I was raised in. And then I found God. And then I found Source. And when I went back, then I was able to see him there. Then I was able to see it there. Yeah, I believe that from that perspective, my creator loves me unconditionally and guides me to be my best, Ryan. Yeah. Brett, you think we aren't allowed to bring up our childhood trauma if we're over 35? Well, I think there's no better time than the present moment. But when we attach story and make excuses, use our previous or childhood experiences as excuses as to, I'm just like this because my parents yelled at me or whatever, or I had a traumatic childhood, so now I'm just like this and there's nothing I can do about it. No, we don't need to be doing that, especially if you're over 35. You're old enough now, damn it, to take control of your life and your choices, because ultimately you are your own guru. You are the one that leads you from darkness to light. You are the one that makes the choices to take care of yourself, on how to talk to yourself, on how to treat yourself, on the choices that you're making. Nobody can make you feel anything. Nobody can make you feel anything. Can you be triggered by something, by internal and external stimuli? Absolutely. But you have a choice. After that switch is flipped, after that trigger happens, you still have a choice on how to respond to that trigger. Or you can just be a victim of your situation and just be a ping pong ball and bounce around life, being constantly triggered and tossed by everything. You learn that the older you get, the less you care about changing. I think it's less that we're changing ourselves and more becoming ourselves, coming home to ourselves. Ideally, the path is to come home to ourselves, not to change ourselves. We've been changed already. We were little sparks of divinity that got smashed into meat bags, and we had to change ourselves to be human. And now, as humans, we go, where's that spark of divinity? Where did that go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Where's my light? Where's my God? Where's my source? Where's my home? There's actually a psychological term for it now, this feeling of not being home and looking for your home and never finding your home. And it is, in my experience, not so much a psychological issue, but a spiritual issue of not being connected to our source, not being connected to the source of our divinity, and not recognizing the divinity that lives within us. When we constantly believe that our divinity or whatever it is outside of us, then our locus of control is gone. A lot of people aren't even aware of what is going on within them. They just know they're angry and sad and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is why mindfulness, in my opinion, is so important. In my experience, mindfulness is so important. Love you too, Rogue. Aw, sweet dear. Are you trying to weaponize your faith as well? On top of that, you're on top of the arrogance. Now you want to weaponize your faith. That's okay. I know that a lot of people who are stuck in that victimization cycle have to victimize others. What's the saying? Hurt people, hurt people. And it's really causing your self-suffering. Because I have a choice and we have a choice not to respond to your weaponization, right? So I love this little story about the monk sitting in the courtyard, sitting in the market courtyard, and he's meditating. He's got his eyes half open, and he's sitting there, kind of just doing his people watching, right? He's sitting in meditation, experiencing the comings and goings of the market, and someone decides, like you, my friend, to go up to this guy, and he doesn't like what he's doing. He doesn't agree with what he's doing, and he believes that what he's doing is wrong. So he begins to tell him, and the monk doesn't really respond. And the guy continues to tell him and continues to tell him, and more forcefully to get his point across, because it's very imperative that he tells this guy all of his judgments and all of his disagreements with what the monk is doing. And finally, this guy gets so upset that he begins to yell and get in the monk's face, and he's like, "Can't you hear what I'm saying?" And the monk finally responds and says, "Yes, I hear you. I simply choose not to receive the gifts that you are offering me. They're not for me. Those gifts, the victimization by your creator, that's not for me. But it is a gift for you, because in it there is a lesson for you. In it there is a gift for you, and I do hope that you find that gift. But thank you for your offering, but they are not for me." And that's the thing. That's the thing, guys. Woo. Discernment. Without judgment. I don't need to yell at you. I don't need to argue or fight with you. You know, we can have a conversation about it, which is what we're doing. But ultimately, I don't have to take it on as my own. I don't have to take it on as my identity. It doesn't have to be something that changes who I am or how I behave, because it's not for me. And I can recognize that and discern that and make that choice without causing chaos and suffering within myself. Judgment in and of itself causes suffering. Hey, Deb. For all of you asking, I am in Oregon. And what do I do for work? I am a reverend and a movement facilitator. So I offer coaching on multiple subjects. I do energy work, both in person and distance. I teach meditation and mindfulness practices. I teach yoga classes. I facilitate movement in breath, body, and being, because so many of us are fucking stuck. And usually stuck in the birth canal of our own rebirth, right? Thank you, Danny. Do I offer assistance with how to get on? No, I don't. On state services? No, sorry. The subject is not finite, so to put it in a box as one thing is limiting yourself. There you go, Ashley. Go get me your ball. If you want to play, go get a ball. Go get a ball. Go get your ball. Where's your ball? Where is it? Go get your ball. Go get it. He doesn't have one out here. He's looking for a pine cone. Ella, it's my tea troll or my coffee troll. Brr, it's cold out here, guys. That's my blue healer. His name is Ajna. Yeah, that's you. I was talking about you. You got your little tail wiggling? Wait. And he loves gloves. This is my guy. I love him so much. I drink out of him every single morning. Go, sir. Really? We get so much shame, blame, judgment from outside of us. The last thing you need to do is adopt that as self-talk, as your self-talk. The last thing we need to do is continue perpetuating that violence within ourselves. The practice of nonviolence isn't the cliche like, oh, I just don't hurt anything outside of myself. The practice of nonviolence is not only not inflicting violence on others, but not inflicting violence on yourself. And that is a really, really, in fact, that's the place that we need to start. Because if you're inflicting violence on yourself, you will either allow others to inflict it on you as well, or you will inflict it on others as well. Danny, you're currently working on this, and it's been amazing to catch yourself mid-thought. Yes. So it's important. There's two things there, right? You want to catch yourself mid-thought, and we want to redirect the thought, bring in something positive, talk to that thought, bring in something more positive, whatnot, offer soothing. But we also don't want to deny the feeling that comes up, right? It's important to make sure that we acknowledge it, honor it, and recognize it, and then offer compassion and move on. There may be a bear behind me, actually, for whoever said that earlier. Okay, if you guys see something big coming out of the woods behind me, let me know. It'll probably be a black bear, so it won't be good. Hearthstone, I like your name. Yes, I do have a TikTok live schedule. I go live for these are my Bhakti Bites classes. They are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning. And then Friday morning, I do tiny yoga, which is yoga for every body and every space. Those are free classes. And then I offer a subscriber only live on Friday nights for top 3, well, for astrology. It's not even just top 3 anymore, is it, guys? Oh my gosh, Emily, wait, who did this? You got my backs, thank you. Emily, I thought that was you. Jabberwolf, don't be embarrassed. Gwen, you said something so mean to yourself. It broke your own heart. You're treating yourself like I do my kid now. Yes! Yes! And have you noticed that since you've been doing that your relationship with your kid has improved? That was one of the first things that I noticed, is when I started treating myself differently, my relationships outside of myself started changing. Because as within, so without. As above, so below, right? My internal world is going to color the way that I experience my external world. What's that? Tough Pancake, yes, I have a website. Move with Change is my website. And you can go over to Move with Change and you can book any services there. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send me a message here on TikTok as well. I'm just in the middle of a brand change, so I'm resetting up my website over there at Move with Change. I had an amazing year with a really awesome community, and life brings change. Life brings different directions. But that said, with all the schedule and whatnot, come the new year, I'm moving Bhakti Bites and Tiny Yoga over to Move with Change. So if you guys would like to join me for this class or for that yoga class, it'll be over in Move with Change. As a member over at Move with Change, you receive steep discounts on any of my private coaching and whatnot. You also receive group coaching every single week, including the classes, including access to any workshops and things like that I do. Next year, I'm going to be doing my chakra workshop again. We talk about the whole energy system as well as the chakras. And not only do we talk about them, but I give you tools and practices to balance them and ultimately heal them. But that said, if you guys subscribe here on TikTok, you receive a free month over to Move with Change. Let me know. You should receive a link there when you subscribe. If you don't see it, send me a message and I will send it directly to you so you can just click and get over there. What else? Is there anything else? This afternoon, or not this afternoon, here in about an hour is our group coaching session on Saturday. So it's from 11 to 1 on Saturdays, Pacific time. All of this is Pacific time, guys. I'm a West Coaster over here in Oregon. Thank you, Ashley, and thank you guys for my subscribers and mods and whatnot for keeping track of things. It's really busy this morning, so I'm trying to keep up with everybody. How do you treat yourself right when you've hurt others? How do you move past that guilt? Well, it's not easy, and we all do it in our own way. For me, it was recognizing that I was hurting when I was hurting other people. And that my hurt wasn't my fault. And so it was this kind of hand-me-down of trauma and pain and abuse. And I was passing it on. No, it's not good. Yeah, there was guilt. But learning to accept myself for where I am in the moment rather than thinking too hard and spending so much time on the past. Instead, committing to changing as I move forward. Committing to being better as I move forward. Because I can't change the past. Thank you for the rose. But in the moment, I can make a different choice in the future. When that comes up again and I feel like yelling at my kid, instead, I can choose to take those 5 deep breaths. I can choose to go outside and stomp my feet on the porch. I can choose to take a shower. I can choose to, there are so many ways that we can redirect that energy. Because the reality is you're not looking for the perfect path to redirect to. There's not one right answer. But there is, I don't want to say wrong answers, right? So when I say no to this, I'm saying yes to all of this possibility. It's not an and or. It's not a black and white. Someone needs to pin that comment. What are you looking for, Court? Yes, Gwen. This is a thing I did. I can make sure I'm a better person now and hold myself accountable. And then when we move forward and we make mistakes again, because we're human and we're learning and we're growing, that's the important piece, right? Is to pause and go, oh, oops. I hoped I would do better. And then offer myself the same compassion and same love that you would again to a child. We have so much love and compassion for children. And then as we become adults, we stop having that. We don't have that for ourselves. And we don't look at other adults and have compassion for the children within them. Because these parts of ourselves that are unhealed are stunted at that age, at those earlier ages. What if the people you hurt unintentionally won't forgive you? Their forgiveness is not, your peace of mind is not contingent on their forgiveness. Again, that's like putting happiness outside of myself. I'll only be happy if they forgive me. Then my happiness is in their hands and under their control. Then I am a victim of the situation. Then I am a victim of my life. then I put myself in the position of the passenger. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, guys. Oh, my friend here with the hearts, Guru Jagat. I don't know. I don't really. Discernment is an important skill. It doesn't matter what I think of any other guru or any other person or anybody. It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is how you resonate. And if there is something about that particular guru that you resonate with, then follow that. It may be that as you follow that, you discover that this thing that you resonate with isn't actually in that person, but is a concept or an idea that you can take and put within yourself. And then you can cultivate it within yourself instead of having to reach outside of yourself for it. Thank you guys for the follow. Wait, what does guru mean? Guru actually simply means that which brings you from darkness to light, leading you from darkness to light. Ajna, come on, baby. That which leads you from darkness to light. That's it. And when we refer to a person as that, we refer to our guru outside of ourselves, which leads us from darkness to light with their teachings and all, whatnot, and their tools. Ajna, you're gonna knock me over. Go get the ball. And we place so much value on these people outside of ourselves because of their wisdom and because of their experience, yes. And we can glean information. We can glean, something from their wisdom. Oh, sorry, guys. But it doesn't. But that thing doesn't only exist within them. You have access to the same things, to the same wisdom and same understanding and same peace of mind and presence as anybody else on this planet. Ultimately, everything in our experience happens within us. Ultimately, everything happens within us. Even when I reach out and hold your hand, my experience of your hand isn't your hand. My experience is of the feeling of your hand as I experience it through my hand. It is imperative that we bring our locus of control, our awareness, back within ourselves and realize that our entire experience is occurring within us. And it is our responsibility to cultivate our ability to respond within ourselves. Change the relationship, improve, heal the relationship we have with ourselves, and our external reality changes because we shift the lens. We're shifting the filter through which we see and experience life and interpret that life. Now it's raining. Court, some won't understand. You have to think on it, and that's okay. Cherry Pie, do I believe in the program of recovery? Are you talking about AA? I believe in whatever works for you, works for you. Whatever leads you to the light, if it's AA, if it's EMDR, if it's talk therapy, if it's psychedelics, if it's, following a guru, whatever it is that actually brings you home to yourself has value for you. Again, there are gifts all over this planet, all over this universe. They're not all for me. But just because they're not for me doesn't mean they're not for you. So I'm not going to judge something that works for you just because it doesn't work for me. We're two different fucking people. How silly for me to think that what would fit me and feel good on me would also fit you and feel good on you. Right? Different paths to the same thing. Yeah, there's a million roads that lead to source, that lead to God. What about God, Echo? It depends on which one you're talking about, right? Thank you guys for the follows. God resides within us. If ultimately all of our experience happens within us, then our experience of God happens within us. And it is a travesty to be told that your God lives outside of you and that you have to prove yourself to him. Otherwise, you won't get rewarded. You'll be punished, you bad child. Again, it creates kind of an infantile relationship, doesn't it? Ooh, Gwen, baking is how you commune with yourself and your ancestors and God. I love that. The process of baking, of creating. It does remind me of, Jesus being a carpenter, right? This process of working with our hands, of interacting with the process of creation. Why do we die if we are God? Echo. Okay. So, in the beginning, there was only love. There was a spark of love. And love is expansive. So love expanded out to create into creation, because love is also creation. And as love expanded, love manifested in all of these different ways. In the ocean. Come! Sorry for yelling. Come on. Into the ocean, into the trees, into the animals. But love knew only itself. And love, again, is meant to be shared. So out of that love and that desire to share love, maybe not just humans, maybe animals too, probably. Animals, humans, manifested. So that then we could turn to each other. So that God itself could experience the sharing of love, the sharing of itself, the discovering of itself. Because, hey, Ajna. How to know ourselves? How do we know ourselves unless we look at ourselves? Unless we discover ourselves? How do we... So, I really do believe that we are manifestations of God, learning to love itself, discovering itself, recreating itself over and over and over and over again. That's why the universe is infinite. And that's why we are all unique and different manifestations of that same divine love. The impetus to grow and to expand means that ever more is being created. And so that is why I and you are completely unique. It is hailing. It's not even rain, it's hail. Tiny little bits of hail. Great. Hey, sit right here. Don't run after the car. Ajna. If you knew that you were God, would you talk to yourself the same way that you talk to yourself now? Is that how you talk to your God? Think about that one. If God is within you, that divine spark within you, if God is always listening and always watching and everywhere in existence, this is how you treat your God? This is how you treat divinity? This is how you would talk to divinity? Knowing that that divinity exists within your children and within your partner and within that shitty boss you have at work and whatever. How would you treat them then with the recognition? With the recognition that divinity lives within them. Yeah. Oh, I like that, Chris. Creator creates life. Creator becomes what he created to show is how to live. Gwen, you can be nicer to kids than creator. I feel like, yeah, we think of creator as wise and all-knowing and whatnot, but I also think that creator is also still creating and therefore still growing. And so there are parts of creator and creation that are immature and infantile and young and silly. And another thing I talk about is the analogy of the body and humanity being the body. And so we need, the mouths to speak up and speak kindly, and the ears to listen, and the shoulders to carry the weight of the world, and the arms to hug us, and the feet to carry us forward. But we also need the taint and the assholes and the smelly armpits for creation to still be a body, for the body to still be a body and a body to function. So when you run across those people who are being assholes, I invite you to see the divinity in them too, and even offer gratitude. Dang. Thank you so much for processing the shit of this reality so that I don't have to do it quite the same way. Thank you. Back to the taint. Because it's a great analogy, because we look at those people outside of us, right? And we judge the people outside of us because we see the reflection of the thing that we hate. And we're like, oh, I can't believe you're so arrogant, right? We don't see God in them. We don't see their divinity. We see our own judgment. We see our own fears and our own worries and our own shame and our own blame. But when you shift that gaze and go, oh man, you chose to come here and be this nasty armpit, like a real stinky armpit. Thank you so much for processing all of that sweat of humanity so I don't have to, because I don't know if I could live a life being an asshole. I don't know if I could do it. It seems stressful. It seems like a lot of work, and I don't want to do that kind of work. So I'm not. But there are people in the universe who are doing that gift, doing that work for us, being the assholes for us so that we don't have to. And if you can find the gratitude for it, it'll completely shift your perspective. Can't have the light without the dark. It's a great analogy, and it really helps me, especially when I'm dealing with somebody who brings up that judgment in me, brings up that judgment. And the thing is, again, if you don't see God in all, you won't see God at all. So I strive to find that divinity in everyone else as well, because then I can see it reflected in myself too. We always find it more difficult to love ourselves. How often do I go live? Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning. And actually, I'm going to wrap up here because I've got to go in and make some breakfast. It's now raining on me, actually sleeting on me. And I've got group coaching happening over at Move with Change. So if you guys are members at Move with Change, I've got the Zoom link setting up, and I'm going to be sending out emails so that everybody gets the Zoom link and you guys can join group coaching. It's a 2-hour session from 11 to 1 Pacific time. If you're not a member at Move with Change, you can subscribe here on TikTok and you can get a free month over at Move with Change. Or you can just go directly to Move with Change and sign up for the Kaya Sangha. I love you guys so much. Keep being you. Keep looking for the divinity within yourself. It is there. It is why you're here. And if you see it in yourself, then you'll see it in others. I love you guys so much. And if you have any questions about any of this or want to chat more, feel free to send me a message. If you want to work directly with me, you can find me over at Move with Change, or you can send me a message here too. I appreciate you guys. I love you so much, and I will talk to you soon.